Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Let's see if the audio's working. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm still dealing with this. You guys can see it. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, hang on, make sure the tie is looking okay. We got our fancy tie on tonight. Finally, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Let's see if the audio's good. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. How you doing, ladies and fellas out there? We have a lot of stuff to get through. Big news. Let's do our plugs real quick at the beginning because I forgot to do them last time. Here we have, as usual, at the coffee link below, you can find, at the coffee link found down below in the description, you can find the What Would a Postmodernist Do bracelet available. We might do a What Would a Baudrillard Do bracelet one of these days. We have the Patreon, of course. You might be like, oh, you lost a member. Well, Audio Vibes reached out to me privately. They were like, dude, Patreon's fucking with me. Help me out. So join for $5 a month or $20 a month. You'll get access to King Leo Movie Club, new episode tomorrow, okay? These are weekly. I think I'm going to leave it at weekly for now, all right? A lot of work recently. So weekly. Yeah, or you can pay $10 on YouTube to get it. But why would you do that? You're smarter than me. Pay $5 on Patreon. And then you have the Discord, which I have not been able to tend to lately because I was at the cobbler, so that I wasn't fronting. And a little mix-up is I wanted to get heel taps, you know, and for anyone that knows about shoes, on the back here, but they put rubber instead. So I paid more, but it's actually better for the shoe. And I negotiated with them on that. So it didn't come out too bad, you know. How's everyone doing tonight? How you doing, Ubuntu? Appreciate that. I hope we can entertain and enlighten. How you doing, Mr. Elu? All right, guys. Let's do a little primer, dude, because we're gonna get to Trump's speech. Let's start with not with our usual. We're gonna switch it up today. We gotta do Kirk Watch first. All right, we got some great Kirk stuff here. The man who will not die.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We'll fight for the gospel. We'll honor his name.
I think this one is my favorite that I've seen so far, man. This one's my favorite. Teenage me would have really loved it. I was a huge Tarantino fan back then, but look at this. It's so good. It's so good. It's so fun. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my God, man. This was my favorite one. George Floyd and Charlie Kirk as Vincent and Jules, right? It's Jules from Pulp Fiction. Some great, dude. The Irishman really sucked. I didn't like that movie. And if Scorsese had just waited a few years, he could have actually made it pretty convincing because this AI is getting really good. This is really funny, man. What else we got? Well, we got this one's interesting because we've seen this version of the Kirkverse before, and he's noticeably absent from this one, but there's a new edition, the streamer Aiden Ross. And I like that this is continuing the Kirk cinematic universe. Someone really should. Hollywood will buy this out at some point. When they're really on their last legs, they'll be like, I guess we'll pay some guy who made the Kirk cinematic universe. It's so good. It's so funny, man. It's so funny. We have, maybe Marx was right. Maybe people will become artists when when capitalism just inevitably goes away. But they just needed AI to do it. And finally, for Kirk Watch, we have here, this one here is really something. This one.
This is Charlie Kirk, but this on the other hand is the Cyber Kirk. It comes complete with biblical quotes on every side like, well done my good and faithful servant, but it gets even better. It has a machine rifle mounted on top and a trunk equipped to transport illegal immigrants to ICE detention centers. It doesn't have a GPS, it just automatically navigates to the nearest college campus to bash into a crowd of protesters at 70 miles per hour, all while blasting We Are Charlie Kirk. The car isn't even electric, it runs on liberal tears and high-octane Patriot fuel. If you look closely at the tires, they're engraved with the entire Bill of Rights just so you can tread on everyone else. But luckily, the only one has just been bought by the CEO of Azerbaijan Technology who shipped it out to his country. He's not even driving it. He put it behind glass at his Azerbaijani Museum of American History with a sign saying, Artifact 67, The Great American Schism, approximately 2024-2026. He's staring at it while wearing his Baku Athletics tracksuit. Get yours at childrenofkhan.com.
This Children of Khan, it's so, all of the ones I've seen I've found funny. But this was really something. I'm very, very happy. We're early, so let me see the chats here. 112 says, funny stuff, Candace was bleeding. Yeah, full Pulp Fiction. She was Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. Artist and heathenist. Yeah, that is the direction we're going in. Opulence, maybe not hedonism, but opulence. Because opulence is the boring one. Hedonism is supposed to be fun. I don't think we're having a whole lot of fun. And Michael Bartley, I haven't seen you before. He got nothing. It's the same deal from 1951, Taco. Well, we haven't even got to the story, Michael. So, if you're triggered by a YouTube title and you can't wait for the analysis to fight, then, that's your thing. And your hair gives me cancer. Okay. Thank you, Iken. I appreciate that. Let's continue with, let's do our Schizo Watch, man, because there's some great stuff. So I'm not going to play this with audio. Because I don't know if you're even allowed to play this. But this is further fallout from the Fuentes thing. This is Myron Gaines. Okay? And I really, guys, if you don't like people of the Jewish faith, on this channel, everyone is welcome. All right. People that hate Hispanic people, me being Hispanic, even that I'm okay. Everyone is welcome. But this is a level of, I can't, this isn't tap dance. I don't even know who he's tap dancing for anymore. Look at this. No, we're not doing audio. This man is pushing 50 and he's dressed up as the happy merchant meme. And what I like is actually when you watch without audio, this is unexpected. Doesn't this look like a crazy person? This is what a crazy person would do. You turn off the audio on my videos, and I'm sure it's like a daily show, oh, it looks like a televangelist or something. But this is just crazy. All right. If you don't believe that that's causing schizophrenia in his audience, at least, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even see what the point of doing this is. You played the song. There was fallout. It was good publicity. How you doing, Stefford? You should make a Discord. We do have a Discord, Stefford. Link is in the description. This is... I don't even know what to call this, dude. I don't know what the audience for this is. Maybe some guys are fans of this. But this is... low IQ or tap dancing doesn't really cover it. This is just... What is the point of this? Someone explain to me how this is productive. Whatever. We'll move on, dude. I really don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just not, I don't hate people of the Jewish faith. Maybe if I hated people of the Jewish faith, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is so funny. But this is so sophomoric and ugly. It's just crass. It's ugly. It's ugly. I'll put it like Ezra Klein. This is of the gutter. Okay. Let's continue. We have Gavin Newsom putting out some Newsom propaganda. Pretty good stuff. Let's watch here. Liked it a lot, especially with this Mark Carney rise of the American and Canadian psychos.
I know Gavin was here. I used to get along so great with Gavin when I was president. Gavin's a good guy. And if he needed it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I don't know if this will drive you schizo. I really do like it. I like the addition of the music. It's very, very funny. It's very.
I know Gavin was here. I used to get along so great with Gavin when I was president. Gavin's a good guy. And if he needed it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
It was really magical when they were working together in the California fires in his first term. Great stuff, rent-free. I'm glad to see Gavin Newsom. He's having more fun than JD Vance. Let's continue. This is more fallout from the Miami stream. Do we even play this? I think we should play this. So this is, we're going to go meta here. This is Clavicular's reaction. How you doing, Night Everything? To Nick Fuentes. As I said, dude, and people can disagree or something, but this is really, we are in a den of vipers type of situation with this Miami thing, from what I've seen, where everyone is, there's a great movie called, it's called Memories of Underdevelopment, great Cuban movie. And it points out that maybe it's capitalism, maybe it's not, but in the capitalistic system is where it's most pervasive. You know, that old saying, victory has 1,000 fathers and failure and defeat is an orphan. This is kind of what's going on here. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen here.
Imagine you're a degenerate Jew pimp and you have two whores under either arm and you're snorting cocaine and you're drinking alcohol.
Literally me.
And you think you're some kind of big shot when all of a sudden you're surrounded by people throwing Nazi salutes saying Heil Hitler. You know, think of that guy. Try to put yourself in his shoes. Somebody think of him. Somebody think of some nebbish.
Think of me, the guy doing cocaine with the two girls, okay? I just want to do my cocaine and fuck my hookers. I don't want to hear this anti-Semitic. I don't fuck with that, man. I don't fuck with that. Just my cocaine. Thank you.
Star of David.
So this is just to reiterate what I said yesterday about Andrew Tate. Guys, be careful who you surround yourselves with. Be careful because look, you have to own it. You have to own it if this is the case. You were in on this. And now that there's fallout, you want to distance yourself. And I really, as a guy who appreciates people standing 10 toes down, no matter their ideology, dude, you go to the grave standing 10 toes down, that's admirable. The only guy I haven't seen fret here is Mr. Fuentes. And I'm not happy with what happened because Miami's already a clown show, but now it's further one. But this is just the idea of distancing yourself after doing this. I mean, what is this going to do to the audience here? I wonder, are the Knick fans going to continue to see him, or are they going to see him through a new light? Are the Clavicular fans going to become Knick fans? Because this is just, it seems like it was just a schizophrenic party at that point. Everyone's distancing themselves. No one really likes it. All right, let's continue. We got here. No, we'll save that for tomorrow, dude. This is pretty funny, man. We're going to watch some PBD today, so it's worth watching. Let's see Adam. I love the caption. The alpha males need to stop crying. Let's see Adam from the Patrick Bet David podcast. This was in his interview with Andrew Tate. More fallout from the Miami thing.
Closed doors. I'm tearing up here. If I never met you, what would I be doing now? I'd still be out in the club with Adrian. You know this conversation, right? How much did you change this guy's life? We just joked the first time that he came out in Miami. This kid was a maniac.
Now I'm 3 years sober.
Maniac.
Amazing.
I told him I can't ever bring him out in the club again in Miami. He tried to fight my best friend.
Amazing. And that's beautiful. And that's past legacy.
Yeah. But hear me out. We're so grateful that we're here.
Of course.
There's nobody behind closed doors. I'm tearing.
If you ever catch me crying, I'll make the promise now. I don't cry. If you ever see me cry, and I'm not like my leg has been cut off, you have full permission to, I don't know, deport me or something. The alpha male crap, man. Where is all... I've always been angry at this crying stuff. You guys know me if you followed the show. The crying stuff is insane. But it seems like Andrew Tate and all these other people are just a bunch of pussies. It's just a bunch of pussies. What are you crying about, Adam? What are you crying about? It's hysterical. It's hysterical. Literally hysterical. Who knew this Miami thing would have so much fallout, dude? Just people embarrassing themselves. Just embarrassing themselves. I've seen clips of Fuentes on Twitter. He's the only one who's like, I don't give a shit. And I'm like, all right, at least you're standing by what you did. This is just embarrassing. A fucking sewing circle of crying. Everyone crying about it. Let's continue, man. We'll save that for tomorrow. I wanted to show this, dude, because there's some mixed signals that I've been getting as a Hispanic in this country. And President Trump said this yesterday.
People, and then they say, oh, we discriminate against. I love Hispanic. They are unbelievable, entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers like I got from the standpoint of being a Republican.
Yesterday, we saw a young man yell at some young Chicanos to go back to Mexico N-words. And here's the president telling me that I'm entrepreneurial and he loves me. Now I'm going schizo. Do they like us or do they not like us? What's going on here? Maybe the non-Hispanics can't relate, but I'm getting a lot of mixed signals lately in regards to my station in the United States. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. All right. For the purposes of time, guys, we have to move on to the Goyim are going insane. All right? Me and my fellow Goyim observing the other Goyim going insane. Or Jewish people. We'll put Jewish people in that and Jewish people watching.
The people are retarded.
So we have to start here, okay, with Chris Cuomo, because I want some context here. I want to show you some context here. Sorry, Andrew Cuomo. No, this is Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo. Let's see what he had to say here to the best house slave on CNN, Scott Jennings. Scott, be a good house slave, CNN. Don't fire Scott Jennings, CNN. That's Scott Jennings. Let's see what he had to say to Scott Jennings, the house slave.
You see this clip of Scott Jennings saying, how are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce me not saying the word illegals anymore? How are you going to do that?
Say illegals anymore because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And
How are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegal.
No, what are you, bully now? What are you, tough guy? Because you're talking to this kid who happens to be right, calling people illegals. They're called illegal aliens in the law. And you know what? A long time ago, Republicans and Democrats switched to undocumented. Why? Because it seemed inhuman. That's why. They changed the vernacular, and you know it. But that's not the point. The point is, how are you going to do it? What are you going to do? What are you? You're a tough guy now, huh? I thought you were just supposed to be the simpering, but, you know, open to conversation Trump defender. Of course, I remember you when you said he was like the worst thing in the world. But everything's convenience these days, right? It's getting you paid. But be careful. If you want to be a tough guy, there are plenty of tough guys out there.
Okay, we can stop there. Plenty of tough guys. This is two retards fighting, by the way, okay? And we normally wouldn't get involved here, but I really think it's rich coming from this guy. Let's go back to one of Chris Cuomo's greatest hits. I loved when this happened. Maybe he forgot that it happened. Let's see Chris Cuomo doing the same exact thing.
What are you going to do about it?
I'll ruin you. I'll throw you down stairs like a punk.
I thought that's who you were.
No, punk-ass bitches from the right call me Fredo. My name is Chris Cuomo. I'm an anchor on CNN.
You're much...
Fredo is from The Godfather. He was that weak brother.
I'm smart. Not like everybody says. But
Isn't that your and brother? They use it as an Italian aspersion. Any of you Italian? Are you Italian? It's a insult to your people.
But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
It's an insult to your people. It's like the N-word for us.
Damn guineas really make me laugh.
Can insult me like that.
So I guess all of the people are tough guys now. They're all tough guys. Dude, all of these guys are pussies, man. They're all pussies. These guys have to be pussies. You're clowning on Scott Jennings, the #1 house slave on CNN. Where's our clip?
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
Well, he's obviously a house slave, okay? I understand that he's doing it, all right? But you are also a tough guy. You threatened to beat people up for calling you Fredo. So it's just, normally I would say let them fight, but they're posting this on social media to just drive everyone insane. Let's continue. What else are the Goyim up to? We have here Green Day, past their prime. What is Green Day doing? You can't even go to a concert anymore? You can't even go to a concert anymore? Really? You can't, because the lead singer is going to start yelling for Trump to shut the fuck up? You can't go to last concert I went to was John Mouse. He didn't do any of this shit. He just sang his songs. Why don't you shut up and dribble? Why don't you shut up and play the music? Okay, American Idiot, the Boulevard song. I like some of the Green Day tracks. What the fuck does Green Day know about fucking yelling during a concert, telling Trump to shut up? It's just insanity, man. It's insanity. What people have, they have all been instilled with a certain level of insanity, and it's unhealthy, man. Let's see what else here. We got some real slobbering here. This was at the U Miami game. I'll read you the caption. University of Miami, wide receiver Keelan Marion may not have hoisted the national championship trophy on the field against Indiana, but he absolutely dominated the Batty Bowl of it, rocking with the stunning blonde white queen, Hannah Straub, and those recruits see his prize. And then we have this video here. Hang on, dude. We just fucking lost everything. Then we have the video here. It's just ridiculous, dude. You can't even watch a sports game anymore without people turning it.
I could have it all. You just say the words and you can rest assured. Nothing in this world I ever wanted more. Nothing like them girls you ever loved before. I said what I said and I'll say it again.
If you're writing about the Batty Bowl on Twitter, I'm going to make, maybe this is not, you shouldn't be allowed to own property. You shouldn't be allowed to own a car, drive a car. They can't even watch sports anymore. The people cannot watch sports anymore without making it some sort of degenerate pornographic thing. And I'm not a moral crusader here, guys. I'm just a guy who appreciates, what are we doing here? The Batty Bowl. This goes to I made a video a while ago about this, how men are becoming more and more feminized. When you're talking about the Batty Bowl and comparing the woman of people that are playing in a college football game, which is already ridiculous to be watching. It's college football, whatever. Maybe we have some fans in here. I don't understand how people watch that. But whatever, putting that aside, why don't you make trading cards of their wives and girlfriends then too? Why don't you do that? It's all very, very low, very crass. Let's continue. What else are the people doing? What else? Now, I wanted to show this clip from Joe Rogan. This guy's called Shrek or the Ogre. I think he's been disproven as one of these Navy SEALs that just exaggerates everything, which is every Navy SEAL.
These are some of my best things. This is a carpenter pencil. Makes sense. You know a carpenter pencil? Sure. But the middle is G10. Same thing as the punch knife. So it's for go through metal detectors. A lot of guys carry them at airports. Fist size, so you could punch with it or kind of get a good with it if you wanted.
Listen, I'm in Florida, dude. I carry a gun, all right? It's legal here. You're allowed to do that. Who are these people fighting in the United States? Who are they fighting? Yeah, I'm going to pull out my modified carpenter pencil to stab an assaultant in his neck, I assume. and then go to court for that? You want to go to court for that? Even in a stand your ground state, they don't recommend you use bladed weapons because you're going to get crucified in court. Because at that point, you're enjoying it. Who's buying this stuff? Who's buying? What person? This LARP must come to an end. This LARP. It's America. You buy a gun. That's it. You're in a liberal state. You buy pepper spray. What are we doing here? You're encouraging people on the Joe Rogan podcast to buy hard plastic knives to bring in through airport security. Do people think they live in Die Hard or something? What is going on in people's heads? Who are you going to be fighting that you need to stab in the neck? What is this? What is this? And I'm sure he's selling it. How you doing, Ephra? I'm astounded at the capacity for consumerism and the movie people have in their heads where they're going to go, oh yeah, he's going to run up on me. And I'm going to pull out my hard plastic, undetectable carpenter pencil, and I'm going to stab him in the neck, and then he's going to die. And then everyone's going to clap, and they're going to make me the mayor because they're going to say, wow, what a badass guy. It's all insane, dude. I don't discourage martial arts, but martial arts plays into this too. This idea that I'm going to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu and then use it in a street fight. Why don't you just carry a weapon like a gun, like an American, okay? Like an American. What is this? Do you live in London? Let's continue, dude. These people have lost their minds, man. They've lost their minds. My God. Let's do this. This was really embarrassing, man. This is a Hispanic L. We've been up and up with Marco Rubio. Let's see what a woman thought would be good to record her child saying and then put it on TikTok. A Hispanic woman.
And this guy told me I'm an illegal immigrant, even though I was born in America.
This is 12-year-old Max. Max and his soccer team had just completed and won a 2-month-long soccer tournament. But instead of celebrating that momentous accomplishment, Max was reduced to tears while describing to his mother the terrible and hateful words he says another child used to bully and harass him.
He said Trump is going to get me and send me back to where I used to live, and I was born in America. I don't live anywhere else.
As a child of immigrants who was born here in the United States, as a kid who was bullied for looking and being different, and also as a new dad, watching Max tearfully try to make sense of what had just happened to him broke my heart in a million pieces. What was especially gut-wrenching is listening to Max trying to apply some type of adult logic and understanding to what was being said to him.
I just don't get why kids like to say those stuff. It makes me really sad that how they just control their power like that. They think they have power, and it's just not nice.
Sorry, Max.
We spoke to Max's mom after she posted this video on Facebook, and she told us that she did not do this to create controversy, but to remind people, quote, how deeply our words and actions can affect one another, especially our children. She shared it to remind us, and again, these are her words, kindness matters, and it starts with how we treat one another. She told us that her hope is that people who see this video and who see Max crying, bewildered by the hate that has just been levied against him, he hopes that people will be encouraged to reflect on the sentiment that we need to be more compassionate to one another.
Everyone involved in this should be in prison. Everyone, except for the child. Everyone, Child Protective Services should take this kid away from their mother. This is child abuse. Your kid's having a little breakdown. Okay, dude, first of all, maybe I'm old-fashioned. I got called all types of shit when you're playing sports. I played a season of football. I was bad at it. Okay? I got called all kinds of shit by your teammates, by the opposing team. I'm not saying you should have to go through that, but I never broke down crying about it And it probably made me, I don't want to boomer max here. I'm not boomer maxing, but come on. Dude, we joke about this to each other, Hispanics. My white friends and black friends joke to me, you're going to get deported. Recording your child to reinforce the behavior of crying because you're told to go back to your country. It's just insane. But what's even crazier is that this guy here really thought he was doing something. He really thought he was cooking with this pathetic video. No, this doesn't make me want to be more compassionate to people. It makes me want to lock you up and this woman up because you are exploiting a soft, vulnerable child with TikTok. You should be in jail. You should be making rivets for the rest of your life in prison because you cannot be part of society. This kind of stuff, dude, this clout chasing retardation is just insane. It's insane. It's insane. I get called all kinds of. I was reading the chat yesterday after on the rewatch, and it was like I got called Jewish like 3 times. And do I look Jewish? By the way, why am I getting this accusation? I've gotten it at least like 10 times in the past month. Not that there would be anything wrong with that, but I've never been told that I look Jewish before the internet. What are we like? Don't we need to sticks and stones may break my bones? What are we doing here, folks, dude? If you just won a championship and you're allowing someone telling you to go back to your country to bring you down, then you should grow up. Grow up. You're a kid. Grow up. My parents would not allow this. My parents would go, dude, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because they're from the third world or something, and like American parents are like, oh, you know, I love you, honey. If they saw you crying, they'd be like, what are you, little girl? What are you gonna fucking cry about it? Like a little bitch? You know, as a kid. And now we have the weakest generation of people. I'm really boomer maxing here, dude. I'm boomer maxing, but it's true. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. I see I hate everything said. Weak. I got called slurs playing online. Mac's mom did it on purpose for political gain. Dude, I'm not even sure if it's for political gain. I don't think these people think that far ahead. These people are just animals. They're animals. And they see that someone online said, oh, you'll get clicks if you post your kid crying about being bullied. And they post it. This country's going soft, bro. It's going soft. It's too soft. Boomer maxing. You need to be Baudrillard maxing, man. That's what you need to be doing. You need to be Baudrillard maxing. What did you do to Baudrillard max today? Today, I went to the public swimming pool dressed as a lifeguard and gave out swimming lessons. I don't know how to swim properly, all right? That's Baudrillard maxing. You need to be doing that. But sometimes you got to boomer max a little bit. You have to boomer max a little bit. Let's continue. By the way, guys, if you want me to see the chat, please tag me like I Hate Everything did there. I see other people that want to get involved. Here we have Neil deGrasse Tyson posting which hat to wear today. The Make America Great Again hat, or the Make America Smart Again hat, or the Make Lying Wrong Again hat, or relax, it's just a red hat. This guy should be in prison. He would be more useful to us in prison. Galileo was sent to prison, okay? Galileo was sent to prison, and we got the whole idea of geocentrism thrown out of the window. Maybe if you put Neil deGrasse Tyson in prison, he will cure cancer or something. What is this, dude? This is what our scientists are doing now. Our scientists are grifting hats called Relax, It's Just a Red Hat. You should be in jail. You should be in jail, forced to work on the vaccine for something, dude. This is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. So pathetic. I thought he was a scientist. All right. And finally, we have here the liberals. This is kind of funny. It's kind of funny, but it just shows you how things have shifted.
Be a race trader?
See, again, y'all are throwing race into all of this. Nobody's throwing race into it.
You profile people
understand how I last so long. I must have a superpower. Da, 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 da. What's my favorite word? Bitch! Why they gotta say it like short? Dude, that's a jam, dude. That's a jam. I would be at the protest with some Too Short playing.
Level of a fucking 8th grader, my dude. Come on.
Fucking go anywhere. This idiot isn't gonna learn.
Oh, because they're blowing the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the I get it. I get it. Yo, the libs are getting clever. I like it. What's my favorite word? Beach. Why they gotta say it like short? Oh, dude. All right. That's a good one. I like that one. That's a clever. I like that one. Very clever. Very good. We got some fucking West Coast rap, some Bay Area rap at the Lib rally. My God. What I was going to say originally before. Let's...
For the fucking government? Like, you think that this is going to save you? From everything that's going on in this world?
Whether you work for the government.
So, all right, we can stop there. Dude, that's crazy. Too Short is making appearances at the Ice Pro. That would be cool if we had a Too Short contest, a Too Short concert. The best, dude. I love Too Short. All right. But obviously, you can see that they called a black ICE agent a race traitor, which is essentially they're just telling him this.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
The liberal has become the Malcolm X of our time, I guess. You would never see this before. A race traitor, when I was coming up, it was like white people to white people being like, you're a race traitor. You are being nice to Hispanic people. You're a race traitor. You know, but now it's like, you work for ICE and you're black, you're gonna get called a race traitor. They've gone insane, bro. They've gone insane. I hate everything since I think it's recently we've taken things like depression seriously. Depression is it's a complicated topic, my friend. But yes, they've proven that SSRIs don't work or something. I'm not a doctor, so don't tell me, you know, but don't trust me. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think depression has something to do with that. All right, so they've gone insane, dude. Let's play this out here. We got to play it because we need to reiterate it.
The people are retarded.
All right, so let's get to our first story, or some of our story, okay? This is going to be a little complicated because it appears that we have actually gotten parts of Greenland. I didn't think that President Trump was able to do it. Let's see what the Greenlanders were doing recently to mock Americans. It does seem like people are going to be doing the Fent Fold in Greenland. President Trump announced this based upon a very productive meeting that I have had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. We have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland, and in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on February 1st. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Golden Dome. There's the Iron Dome. This is the Golden Dome. Further, President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio representing Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and various others as needed, will be responsible for the negotiations. They will report directly to me. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And here we see the statement, Trump on Greenland. What is going on? We got Greenland. You know, we saw someone in the chat earlier saying that they didn't actually get Greenland because it seems that it's still not known because the NYT has conflicting reports that either we're getting all of Greenland or we're getting pockets of Greenland. I don't know how pockets of Greenland is defined, but either way, you're getting Greenland. You are getting Greenland, even if it's pockets, because they're not going to be military bases. We already have total authority to put military bases. So it's not that. So, you know, I guess we got to celebrate that we have new Americans here. We have Greenlanders coming. We'll know more in the coming days. And this is all coming out of the Davos speech that Trump gave, which I actually have some footage here of the speech, dude. It was unbelievable. This is like the craziest thing that I have seen Trump say. I was very happy to see that it was streamed in this high quality. Let's see Trump giving his speech in Greenland after Mark Carney's amazing speech about how the order is done.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Huh? You think you can do this shit? Jay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoe program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of who the fuck you think you fucking with. I'm the police. I run shit here. You just live here. Yeah, that's right. You better walk away. Go on, walk away, because I'm going to burn this motherfucker down.
That was Trump. And obviously, that's not President Trump, but that is the energy that was here. It was a crazy speech, dude. It was wild. It was wild to watch. Let's see what he actually said. It was wild to watch, man. I wanted to watch the whole thing, but he went on for like an hour because that's how Trump likes to do it. Let's see what he had to say. All right, because this was some wild shit. Before we get into that, though, firstly, Mark Carney, as we saw yesterday, has announced that Canada is going to start receiving electric vehicles from China. Here we see the pathetic reaction from Canadian rightoids. Canadian rightoids, man, they're really, really something. Before that, let me see the chats. I had everything says pockets of Greenland. We slowly expand. I once you let a foot in the door, dude, goated persuasion technique, foot in the door in the face. It's something. And 112 says definitely a win for America. It's literally expansion, right? All right. So let's see here. I see Mr. Elu saying we have an hour. We do have an hour, but we have to get to Jaime Wetback or James Fishback, who was on PBD today. Very important news. This is the Canadian rightoid response to Canadians getting cheaper cars.
A moment ago, you said you're discouraging Canadians from buying one of the 49,000. Are you officially asking Canadians, Ontarians to boycott any of the 49,000 Chinese-made EVs that come to Canada?
That is exactly what I'm saying, Colin. So thank you for that.
Say the word. So you're asking them to
boycott the Chinese EV vehicles. Support companies that are building vehicles here. It's as simple as that. This is a Team Canada approach. We got to stick together.
Dude, if I've learned anything with life, it's that people will always go for the cheaper option. People think that you can appeal to nationalism or the idea of quality. No, most people will go towards price. That is what people go towards. I'm not a Milton Friedman acolyte, but I guess he was right about that, about the very basics of supply and demand. If price goes down, people will go get it. This is a pathetic campaign. You will not get people to pass up on $10,000 cars, especially with the crap that's being produced in America and Canada. Canada assembles a lot of American cars, at least part of it. It goes back and forth. That's why these tariffs are a huge deal, because they send them to Canada for some stuff, and then they send them back here for some other stuff, and then this is just stupid. These people don't deserve to run the country, dude. I like Stephen Harper. I do. I liked the old school Canadian right-wing people. They were interesting. But this is just pathetic. I had everything says, wait, isn't this the brother of the politician who openly admitted doing crack? I think it is Rob Ford. Yeah, it's Doug Ford. Rob Ford, people liked him, though, despite doing crack. Or because of doing crack. He was a pretty good mayor at the local level. This is a pathetic campaign. Let's continue. We have here, I've seen the memes here, man. The memes are great because we also saw Emmanuel Macron yesterday in Davos saying that he wanted Chinese foreign direct investment coming in. And here we have the old picture of him with Xi Jinping. Look at these two men together, bro. Look at Winnie the Pooh over here, man. Winning the trade war without a shot fired. And here we have the Alex Jones meme. This is one of my favorite ones whenever it resurfaces. This one's great.
And let me tell you, I've been taken up to the third heaven. I've been jacked into the big plan. I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you. But I tell you, anybody tries to get in the way of the incredible plan the big guys got for us has got me pissed, and I'm just begging to stay on the team, man. Just put me in the game, coach. Whatever you say, coach. I know I'm weak. I know I'm pathetic. Man, you're amazing. I'm so lucky you made me. What do I do, Bob? Like a hunting dog, man. Just take me out of the house. Just turn me on them. Just tell me what I got to do. Tell me what. Tell me how I serve you. Tell me what I can do for you right now. Woo!
Do you think that Mao, in his wildest imagination, ever pictured that France would be begging this man right here for foreign direct investment? You know, these Maoists, the Maoist memes are funny, but Deng Xiaoping, the master, unbelievable. Deng Xiaoping. Did he know what he started when he said legendary quote? I don't care if the cat is white. I don't care if the cat is black. It just has to catch mice. Do you think he knew he would unleash this man? That he would conquer Europe without a shot fired? Hitler couldn't do it. Napoleon couldn't do it. The Tsars couldn't do it. Bismarck couldn't do it. Man right here. Can you believe it? In the mountains, the Red Army fighting the future Taiwanese, drug traffickers in Vietnam, ready to install communism, to make sure every man has a metal forgery at home. Did they ever think it would lead to this? Imagine. If he did, visionary genius. Steve Jobs level. Everything says, all fun and games till Mongolia wants to conquer the world again. The spirit of Genghis Khan coming back. I'm impressed with this Chinese, man. I'm impressed. Here we have Mark Carney, after his amazing speech, doing a little aura farming. We see him here putting out this video. .59 excellence. 5'9" excellence. The 5'9" community. Dude, I'm so happy. Marco Rubio elevating the Hispanic community, the South Florida community. Mark Carney over here elevating the 5'9" community. WWW. All right. So now we have to get to Trump's speech, where he apparently confused Iceland and Greenland. Common mistake made by Leif Erikson. All right. It was made by Leif Erikson. It happens to the best of us, okay? So here we have, to show you how the White House has responded to it. Libby Dean said, during his WEF remarks, his Davos remarks, President Trump appeared to mix up Greenland and Iceland around 3 times. Okay, and here we have the portion of the speech where he does this, thanks to Aaron Rupar, who, despite his politics, he's a bit of an annoying lib sometimes. He always comes in with eclipse.
I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up.
Common mistake. In fact, it's kind of funny. All right? But here we have Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary. The blonde bombshell herself, Caroline Leavitt. She can't let sleeping dogs lie. She said, no, he didn't, Libby. His written remarks referred to Greenland as a, quote, piece of ice, end quote, because that's what it is. You're the only one mixing anything up here. And she posted the Google image for Greenland, which, ironically, has a lot of ice. And Iceland has a lot of green. Interesting fact for those that didn't know. All right. And, Catherine Watson says, so the White House explanation is he was saying Iceland instead multiple times. All right. By the way, for anyone that's been to Iceland, because I see Afra saying it, they're like the most American Europeans that I've met. I don't think they'd want to be part of America, but they're the most American. They drive big trucks. They have some American culture. They're kind of what you'd expect Canada to be. Maybe they get Iceland too. Who knows? I don't think they would like it, but at this point. So here we have his speech, all right? And his speech is pretty long. Let's just watch a little bit of the beginning and then we'll switch to highlights because this speech was Mark Carney. Mark Carney, you were impressive, big guy. You were impressive. Medium height guy, like myself. You were impressive, all right? But what came out here today, dude, it was Joe Pesci and Casino. Oh, listen here, you Canadian motherfucker, You're the reason you exist out here. I'm the reason you have your license. That was the highlights of the speech. Well, let's see how he worked his way up into it.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. It's great to be back in beautiful Davos, Switzerland, and to address so many respected business leaders, so many friends, few enemies, and all of the distinguished guests. It's a who's who, I will say that. I've come to this year's World Economic Forum with truly phenomenal news from America. Yesterday marked the one-year anniversary of my inauguration, and today, after 12 months back in the White House, our economy is booming, growth is exploding, productivity is surging, investment is soaring, incomes are rising, inflation has been defeated, our previously open and dangerous border is closed and virtually impenetrable, and the United States is in the midst of the fastest and most dramatic economic turnaround in our country's history.
So have you been to or watched a Trump rally? It's like a corporate energy Trump rally. Same rhetoric. We're winning, and we're not tired of winning. Immediately coming in with a Carl Schmittian friend-enemy distinction. There's some friends here, there's some enemies. But we're all here. Let's talk. Real mafia shit.
Under the Biden administration, America was plagued by the nightmare of stagflation, meaning low growth, and high inflation, a recipe for misery, failure, and decline. But now, after just 1 year of my policies, we are witnessing the exact opposite. Virtually no inflation and extraordinarily high economic growth. Growth like I believe you'll see very shortly our country has never seen before, perhaps no country has ever seen before. Over the past 3 months, core inflation has been just 1.6%. Meanwhile, fourth quarter growth is projected to be 5.4%, far greater than anybody other than myself and a few others had predicted. Since the election, the stock market has set 52 all-time high records. So that's in 1 year, 52 records, adding $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, 401ks.
All right, so we're doing some boomer appeal. We got to talk about the state of the boomer, the state of the American boomer. Young people may be suffering a little bit, okay? Average age, not median, of hiring in the past quarter was 42. But you rest assured, your parents' retirement account is a buzzing.
People's savings. People are doing very well. They're very happy with me. Since my inauguration, we've lifted more than 1.2 million people off of food stamps, and after 4 years in which Biden secured less than $1 trillion of new investment in our country. Think of that, 1 trillion, substantially less than that. In 4 years, we've secured commitments for a record-breaking $18 trillion, and we think when the final numbers come out, they'll be closer to $20 trillion of investment. That's never been done by any country at any time, not even close. Just over 1 year ago, under the radical left Democrats, we were a dead country.
The radical left, the anarchist. The rhetoric, that I don't know if this is part of the persuasion technique. He figured out these words because Trump is a very persuasive individual. You don't believe me? Go listen to the great Scott Adams talk about it, the late Scott Adams. But you know, you wouldn't expect this. This is like if you walked into, I don't know, UBS or JP Morgan You started, and you started telling them in a very corporate tone, but you were like, yes, I'm a drug dealer. I love to sell drugs. I need a business account in order for me to deposit my money to pay for hoes. You know, so it's very odd to see. It kind of throws you off. Very sharp contrast to Mark Carney.
Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. In fact, the United States economy is on pace to grow at double the rate that was projected by the IMF just last April. And with my growth and tariff policies, it should be much higher. I really believe we can be much higher than that. And this is all great news, and it's great for all nations. The USA is the economic engine on the planet, and when America booms, the entire world booms. It's been the history. When it goes bad, it goes bad. You all follow us down.
If I'm going down, you're going down with me. In other words, if you fuck with me, you're fucking with yourself. This is some real mafia shit. This is some crazy shit to say. Hey, Macron. I go down. Rest assured, you're going down with me. So give me Greenland. Fuck you. It's just... Did not expect this energy.
And you follow us up, and we're at a point that I don't believe we've ever been. I never thought we could do it this quickly. My biggest surprise is I thought it would take more than a year, maybe like a year and 1 month. But it's happened very quickly. This afternoon, I want to discuss how we have achieved this economic miracle, how we intend to raise living standards for our citizens to levels never seen before, and perhaps how you too and the places where you come from can do much better by following what we're doing, because certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument. Friends come back from different places. I don't want to insult anybody and say I don't recognize it. And that's not in a positive way. That's in a very negative way. And I love Europe, and I want to see Europe go good, but it's not heading in the right direction.
So immediately saying you can come with us, or you can follow this Carney hack, this Xi Jinping hack, or you can join us as we elevate prosperity for all of our own citizens. You're unrecognizable. I look at France, I don't recognize it. I don't see the baguettes. I don't see the little hats and the striped shirts, okay? I see France, and I see a disgusting place. It has been taken over by people that came in after Gaddafi was taken down, and it's no longer France. This is very, very... This is kind of flirting with the extreme, not extreme right, but like the more J.D. Vance wing of the world that hates Europe, that says they've let in too many immigrants. And it's very important to mention because as we saw Mark Carney, he was making a Gaullist appeal. And a Gaullist appeal basically says, listen, Atlanticism is the enemy. Europeanness is not. We can have a foreign legion. We can have Algerians in the French army. We can have Algerians living amongst us. They will become French. They are not the enemy. The enemy is the American who wants to tell us what to do. Whether you agree or disagree with that, this is making that distinction, saying it's not just me or China. It's me or China or this Carney stuff where you're going to continue to degrade yourself in the ways J.D. Vance describes. Or Douglas Murray. I see Mr. Lewis says Douglas Murray. And you will lose either way. Or you can join us. Become part of the winning team. I had everything says if Trump fails, then Gavin, Patrick Bateman, Newsom will definitely get Greenland. Dude, he opened the door for the conversation. And Newsom, if I were Canadian, I'd watch out. He's the guy who could seal the deal.
Decades it became conventional wisdom in Washington and European capitals that the only way to grow a modern Western economy was through ever-increasing government spending, unchecked mass migration, and endless foreign imports. The consensus was that so-called dirty jobs and heavy industry should be sent elsewhere, that affordable energy should be replaced by the Green New Scam.
And again, and here you can see the effect of Trump. That last bit was literally what Mark Carney was saying yesterday. Mark Carney was saying we need to be self-fueling and self-producers of food, right? We need to be able to do this. We cannot send all of these jobs abroad. We can have a better world. And as I said yesterday, before the Trump speech, it's the same argument Trump was making with tariffs, but without tariffs, with bilateral agreements. So we see the same vision being exposed, but a different methodology. 112 says the operative word of Carney's is rupture. Yeah, rupture with America, but towards the same goal, right? Towards the same goal. That's what makes it such a fascinating time. We have competing visions here.
That countries could be propped up by importing new and entirely different populations from faraway lands. This was the path that Sleepy Joe Biden administration and many others.
And there he drops the first Sleepy Joe. You know they're not going to like hearing that. They're not going to like hearing that. But it's like trolling everybody gangster till Donald Trump shows up and starts trolling the Davos crowd. The trolling is, I mean, you have to enjoy it because it's too funny. It's too funny. Sleepy Joe in Switzerland.
The Western governments very foolishly followed, turning their backs on everything that makes nations rich and powerful and strong. And there's so much potential in so many nations. The result was record budget and trade deficits and a growing sovereign deficit driven by the largest wave of mass migration in human history. We've never seen anything like it. Quite frankly, many parts of our world are being destroyed before our very eyes, and the leaders don't even understand what's happening. And the ones that do understand aren't doing anything about it. Virtually all of the so-called experts predicted my plans to end this failed model would trigger a global recession and runaway inflation. But we have proven them wrong. It's actually just the opposite.
And this is sort of an odd appeal because it seems like an appeal to the populist right in Europe. You know, your idiots like Tommy Robinson, I'm not a fan of. I do like some right-wing guys in Europe, like Academic Agent. Huge fan. Shout out to Academic Agent. I love Academic Agent. But this rhetoric of your leaders, either they don't know, and if they do know, they don't care about the degradation of your country through immigration. This seems like a beam to activate all of the populist right energy in Europe. All of the, Tommy Robinsons, Marine Le Pen's, to really get uppity, to really start fighting the establishment in Europe. I don't think that's a great strategy personally. I think that those people are not going to get near power, nor would they know how to govern. Look at Salvini, who was the one who came closest. But it does make sense to do this divide and conquer in Europe.
Here our agenda has produced a transformation like America has not seen in over 100 years. Instead of closing down energy plants, we're opening them up. Instead of building ineffective, money-losing windmills, we're taking them down and not approving any. Instead of empowering bureaucrats, we're firing them, and they're going out and getting jobs in the private sector for 2 and 3 times what they were making in government. So they started off hating me when we fired them, and now they love me.
Okay, so Doge was a success. All right, there you see the start of the speech. Let's get to the highlights. Here we have further Xi Jinping thought being expressed. America will not be a nation of renters.
Home ownership has always been a symbol of health and vigor of American society, but that goal fell out of reach for millions and millions of people in the Biden era because interest rates went up so high.
An attack on the Fed again. He's currently in a war with Jay Powell.
Today I'm taking action to bring back this bedrock of the American dream. In recent years, Wall Street giants and institutional investment firms, many of you are here, many of you are good friends of mine, many of you are supporters, sorry to do 500 houses They buy hundreds of thousands. They buy 500 houses. They can take depreciation. A person sweats and works and buys one house, they can't. But homes are built for people, not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I have signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. It's just not fair to the public. They're not able to buy a house. And I'm calling on Congress to pass that ban into permanent law, and I think
Xi Jinping thought at the Davos Forum from the mouth of Donald Trump, homes are for living in, not speculation. Doubling down in front of the whole world, in front of his donors. Did you expect that? All right, what else we got? We got him here calling out the credit card companies. Very Chinese.
one of the biggest barriers to saving for a down payment has been surging credit card debt. The profit margin for credit card companies now exceeds 50%, one of the biggest. And they charge Americans interest rates of 28%, 30%, 31%, 32%. Whatever happened to usury? So to help our citizens recover from the Biden disaster, all caused by this horrible precedent, I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. And this will help millions of Americans save for a home. They have no idea they're paying 28%. They go out there a little late in their payment and they end up losing their house. It's terrible.
So here we have Uyghur, meaning Chinese Sharia law, being said by Donald Trump. We must cap the credit cards so that our citizenry can afford homes. What? Are America the new shining city on Allah's hill? On Mao's hill? Never heard this before from any president. Saw this part here. We have here, this was the direct call out to Mr. Carney.
Going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
We put you in business. Us. We, America. That's what Trump is saying. What? Listen, you can get up there and talk your uppity crap, Mr. Mark Carney. Banker Mark Carney. Quadruple citizen Mark Carney. But don't ever forget it. I put you in business. It was me. Which normally would sound impotent, but here it's undeniably true. And America and Canada have a very tight economic relationship. How you doing, D4? How you doing, Bahari Dolindo? Crazy stuff. We saw this as well. We saw him here doing a call out to the big boss, Benjamin Netanyahu himself.
What we did for Israel was amazing, but that's nothing compared to what we have planned for the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We are going to build a dome like no other. We did it for Israel. And by the way, I told Bibi, stop taking credit for the dome. That's our technology. That's our stuff. But they had a lot of courage, and they were good fighters, and they did a good job, and we wiped out the Iran nuclear threat like nobody can believe. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That, Venezuela, taking down Soleimani.
So obviously, Donald Trump, who has a very good relationship with Israel, is going to praise their war in Gaza or genocide, or whatever you want to call it. All is valid here. But I thought it was pretty funny that he was like, stop calling it the Iron Dome and stop saying you built it. I built that for you. I built that for you. I wouldn't be surprised if the big boss himself comes out and does a stand-up routine like we saw a few weeks ago. He's like, listen, we called it the Iron Dome and we said we built it. They're going to hire Jerry Seinfeld for this. But Donald, we never said you couldn't use the name. In fact, we'll take the Golden Dome. It's going to be a Jerry Seinfeld bit that Netanyahu puts out on Twitter. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. And here we have him calling out the foreign cultures, because I showed you, he said he loves Hispanics early on the show. And then he says this.
The situation in Minnesota reminds us that the West cannot mass import foreign cultures which have failed to ever build a successful society of their own. I mean, we're taking people from Somalia, and Somalia is a failed, it's not a nation. Got no government, got no police, got no military, got no nothing. And then we have this fake congressperson who they just reported is worth $30 million. You believe this? Ilhan Omar, talking about the Constitution provides me. She comes from a country that's not a country, and she's telling us how to run America. Not going to get away with it much longer, let me tell you.
Okay. Telling Ilhan Omar she's not from a real country. I do this too, but I haven't done it to Somalia. Whenever you meet a Kosovan, you're like, dude, your country's fake. You know that, right? Or a Taiwanese person, you're like, dude, this is a fake country. You know it's a fake country. Stop bullshitting me. Like, you can be happy with it, but it's a fake country. Come on. Panama too. The Panamanians out there, you know your country's fake. It's not a real country. Attacking on the world stage. Miss Ilhan Omar herself. I wonder what she's going to react with. It's going to be funny to watch this chaos. But, you know, foreign cultures coming in that can't build their own countries. You know, little mixed signals there for me. You know, we Hispanics, we have some countries. They're not great. They work. Some of them are great. Chile's a great country. Here we have this portion here. I could only find like this, the short.
$19 billion in fraud that was stolen by Somalian bandits. Can you believe that Somalia, they turned out to be higher IQ than we thought. I always say these are low IQ people. How did they go into Minnesota and steal all that money? And we have, you know, they're pirates. They're good pirates, right? But we shoot them out of the water just like we shoot the drug boats out. They're not pirating too many boats lately, do you notice?
And there we go. Full Sicario 2. Just, I guess they weren't low IQ at all. Robert said that a few weeks ago in chat. He was like, I guess they weren't low IQ because they made a bunch of money. This man he's really something, dude. He's a very funny guy. He's a funny guy. First guy I see, though, and I'll respect that. Because I see a lot of people online that they get angry. I've said this before. They get angry at the thief. And I've always said, dude, if you're the shopkeeper and you're angry at the thief, it doesn't make sense. Be angry at yourself for letting the thief do his job. So some self-accountability there, you know? All right. And here we have him after Davos in Switzerland. Here he is talking about Greenland, being interviewed on the side.
The USA gets everything we wanted, including especially real national security and international security.
How so? Can you give us some details, please?
Well, the deal is going to be put out pretty soon. I mean, we'll see. It's right now a little bit in progress, but pretty far along. It gets us everything we needed to get.
Will the U.S. still get Greenland? Will the U.S. still get Greenland, sir?
Say that convinced you.
Say it?
What did Mark Rutte say?
Well, he's a great leader. I think he's fantastic. The Secretary General was representing the other side, which is really us too, because, you know, we're a very important member of NATO. I've done a lot for NATO. And it's really nice. I mean, it's a deal that everybody's very happy with.
Sir, how...
So, I don't know if the speech had much to do with it. Who knows? But it was an appeal to the nations of the world. Join us in our prosperity. Maybe that pushed them over the edge. Maybe that's why they gave up Greenland. Maybe that's why. Secretary of NATO is the one who negotiated it. You can't say he didn't get results. You can't say he didn't get results. You know, as a doubter myself, as a skeptic, can't wait to see the plan. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? He also had this tidbit to say about South Africa, which is an issue that he has been done action on as well. He's allowed the Afrikaners into America, the people of Dutch descent in South Africa.
No white genocide in South Africa, and are you willing to engage with the South African government?
Well, no, what's happening in South Africa is terrible. It's a terrible situation. What they're doing to people, a certain group of people, is unbelievable. You wouldn't think it could happen today.
What would it make you believe that there is no white genocide, Mr. President, in South Africa?
Well, we have seen the numbers, we've seen the records, and it is taking place.
Mr. President. So Donald Trump saying white genocide is taking place in South Africa? A few years ago, unthinkable to say, you know, but he's saying it. By the way, I would say I've always had a more complex take on South Africa, dude, which is that, and you could call it white genocide or whatever you want, but the reality is this, is that South Africa, because people don't think in terms of ethnicity, they think in terms of race, it's the Dutch that are getting screwed. And they're getting screwed by the English in South Africa, who all live in Cape Town, who have always oppressed these people, the Afrikaner. And of course, there is a racial element, probably. I haven't been to South Africa myself. But it's not as simple, in my view, as black people killing white people to take their stuff. Because you go to Cape Town, and it's still a beautiful place. And that's where all the Anglo money is. No hate to the Anglos, you know. You played a good game. What are you going to cry about? What are you going to do? Fucking cry, you Dutch peasant in South Africa? But I just would add that, because when people say white genocide, I think it's very reductive. And not to get a little Marxist here, but it's lacking a little bit of class consciousness, all right? The Afrikaner is the agrarian class, the middle class, not the decision-making class, all right? Let's continue. That was very, very interesting to hear him say. Here we have some memes that came out, Trump explaining how he acquired Greenland at Davos.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. And I stole it, like, bro, but niggas don't understand. I talk facts. Vlad, I talk facts.
Oh, you're right. Don't even deny it. That's cool.
I talk facts. What deny? What, nigga? Give me that, nigga. You don't know what to do with that.
Okay.
You know when a nigga got a girl, her shit fat? Bro, you don't know what to do with that. Give me that. Stole.
All right. So we got the 6-9 foreign policy, and it worked. And I thought we would end with this bit here, where he was angry at the name of the F-47, which is not really being named after Donald Trump. It's being named after the P-47, I believe, which was another plane of the 20th century. The F-47, we already have invisible planes. I don't know what they're going to do with this new plane.
They're going to build new plants to make Tomahawks, Patriots. We have the best equipment. F-35s, F-47, the new one just coming out. They say it's the most devastating plane, fighter jet ever. Who knows? They called it 47. If I don't like it, I'm going to take the 47 off it. I wonder why they called it 47. We'll have to think about that. But if I don't like it, I'm going to take that 47 off.
As an American, I feel a little bit more confident today. And I think all Americans probably do. Because even if you disagree with the policy, it seems like America still has that spunk in them. We're bragging about our invisible planes. We're adopting Chinese thought, Muslim thought to make things better for the normal people, the plebeian, to own a home, to not get ripped off by credit cards. We're bullying Canada. We're acquiring Greenland. All jokes aside, all analysis aside, if you're an American, does this not make you feel a little bit safer, you know? A little bit safer today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will come back and bite us in the ass. But I gotta say, dude, America's run this year so far has been, I'm not scared of getting kidnapped anymore. You touch a hair on an American's head and you're fucked, dude. We have the invisible plane, and we have the invisible plane sequel coming out, the F-47, and the president doesn't like its name. He's gonna fucking change it. You're either with us or you're against us, but this time we have the invisible plane. How about that? So, you know, I'll just say, as an American, feels pretty safe out here. All right. That was President Trump's speech. Very, very interesting. We have to get to the legend, the wizard, Jaime Wetback himself. We're going to watch him on PBD, but before we do that, we have to see him here. Okay? We have to see him here. All right. This was very funny. He held the space, and this guy here, Max Nerdau, was in the space. This guy is very annoying. If you're from Florida, you've seen his account. He has the beeper in his bio or his name. He says muscular Jew, American genocide expert, the nexus of Florida content featured in Tucker Carlson's newsletter, #Sunshine Space. This guy is incredibly annoying. He's a heel, as you can see from his header. Okay? He's a heel. He's very annoying. It has nothing to do with him being Jewish. I don't have a problem with him being Jewish. He's just a very annoying guy. There is speculation that this person doesn't even exist, that this is actually Ron DeSantis's manager who comes on Twitter with this anonymous account. And all he does is be fucking annoying. He's a Ron DeSantis meat writer who just cheers on as the state becomes unlivable. He's, yeah, the state. So he went into a space with James Fishback. And I gotta say, man, if he says he will arrest Ron DeSantis, I'm sold. This guy is hilarious. Let's listen to him take on this annoying peasant, Mr. Nardau, who may not be real.
Fishback, listen, you're the one who says that Byron has a dark vision.
Byron does have a dark vision. He does have a dark vision. He's a disgrace. He came from the ghetto. I want to send him back to the ghetto. And you...
Dude, I know it's racially insensitive, but how he's committed to this, he's from the ghetto and I will send him back to the ghetto, is so fun. How does he doubles down on everything. This is like an all or nothing campaign. My producer said this, dude. This is like, I win or die. I will send him back to the ghetto. He's channeling Drake. I took you out of the ghetto. I will bring you back if you misbehave. You will go back to a tether, a Belizean, and now someone from the ghetto. It's just so funny. It's so funny. Let's listen to that again.
Fishback.
And also, he is from the ghetto, Mr. Fishback. He's from Broward, so it's even funnier for Floridians.
Listen, you're the one who says that Byron has a dark vision.
Byron does have a dark vision. He does have a dark vision. He's a disgrace. He came from the ghetto. I want to send him back to the ghetto. And you can print that if you want. I don't care what you say, Max. You're a stupid, feckless Republican who's trying to tone police us. I and the rest of us are trying to save our country. And you're worried about me calling a black man Byron? Go join the Democrat Party, Max. Seriously.
Yeah, so your car wasn't repossessed. It was seized by U.S. Marshals. Whose car are you driving right now? And
Max,
whose name is the title?
Max, I'm driving your mom's car right now. You want to talk to her?
I love this. I love this show.
Max, you're Fishback. Listen.
He's definitely Latino, dude. He has that Latino Chalaqueo trait in him, dude. That is so funny. That is so funny. That is so. Hang on, one more time. The ghetto thing was so funny.
You're the one who says that Byron has a dark vision.
Byron does have a dark vision. He does have a dark vision. He's a disgrace. He came from the ghetto. I want to send him back to the ghetto.
One more time.
And you can does have a dark vision. He's a disgrace. He came from the ghetto. I want to send him back to the ghetto.
I'm gonna start saying that to people. You're from the ghetto, and I will send you back. That is so. All right. And apparently, he has a big announcement tomorrow. Republican candidate James Fishback to make a statement about the future of Florida's governor's race. All right. I hope he's not pulling out, dude, because he's so fucking funny, dude. He's so funny. He is at least funny. All right. Let's get to PBD because he was on PBD and we have to explain why that's so important.
Feel free to push back. I'm comfortable with it. And then there's the lions that live in the jungle who have to go get their own meat. I'll give you an idea. And you refuse to hunt. You email me, I won't respond. You DM me, I will not respond. Not on LinkedIn, not on Twitter. Dropping the N-word.
All right. So the reason this is important, we're going to watch most of it actually, is because PBD was a huge Ron DeSantis meat writer. He's a huge Trump meat writer too. He's a transplant. Transplants love Ron DeSantis. They love him. They love the guy. If you're from here, you may not like him, but transplants love the guy. And so here although DeSantis has not endorsed a candidate, we can presume that most likely, that Jay Collins, who's his lieutenant governor of like 2 months, is going to be the candidate he endorses, or Byron Donalds, because Byron Donalds has already been endorsed by Trump. And PBD, after previously saying that he was an interesting guy, is now hosting him. And this has 250,000 views. That may not seem like a lot, but it is a lot for Florida politics. Okay? So the fact he's platforming him is of note. It's definitely of note. Let's watch how this went, because it is really a fascinating interview.
James, before we get started, why don't you take a minute and tell everybody, 31 years old, you can enjoy life, you can travel, you can work hard, you can build a business. Why are you running for the governor of Florida at 31 years old?
Patrick, I'm running for Florida governor because my family has been here for 4 generations, and Florida is the best state in the country, hands down. That's why.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say California is the best state in the country for sure. That's undisputable. But we're up there. We're one of the top 5. Okay, people think of America, they don't think of Connecticut. They don't think of North Dakota. You ask a French person, "Oh, do you like Florida?" They're going to go, "I'm sorry, do you like America?" "I love California, Texas, New York, Florida. The best, the best." You know, they're not going to know Wisconsin or Michigan. All right, we're top 5. I'm glad we have a governor who's actually saying it.
We all live here. I was born right here in Broward County, raised here my entire life. But if we're the greatest state in the country, why is it so hard for the families who made it the greatest state in the country to afford to live here? Mm-hmm. I meet people every single day, including just last night in Sumter County, where we held a rally of 100 people, who say, I can no longer afford my property tax bill, my homeowner's insurance, my HOA, whatever it may be. I can't get a great paying job. I can't buy a home. That's a real fight. And so I'm in this race to deliver a real plan to make Florida affordable, to make life a little bit easier. I believe we are the best state in the country, but that has to mean something for the families, the young people, and the seniors who made it the best state in the country. How do you do that? Right off the bat, you end the H-1B scam. No more H-1B workers will be allowed in Florida.
Now, before he continues with the solutions, we have to say in an unqualified way that Zoran Mamdani has profoundly changed American politics. The reason he won is because he ran on kitchen table issues. That's the reason he won, in my view. Also, a brilliant media campaign. But he was talking about things that were material, things that people perceive every day. It wasn't this abstract thing about how, oh, New York is great because the people who make it up, and the economy is going to do better under me because I'm going to invest more in this area. It was kitchen table issues. And Fishback is taking a note out of that book and using it. And I have to say, it's a very smart strategy. It's a very smart strategy. No one else is doing this. Byron Donalds isn't doing this. Jay Collins isn't doing this. Jay Collins is busy talking about how we need to put even more speech codes to stop anti-Semitism in Florida. Okay? What the fuck does that have to do with me? All right? I'm not going out there yelling anti-Semitic stuff. And even if I was, oranges cost too much. Why don't you talk about that? Or gas? Okay. Byron Donalds, AI data centers. Why don't you talk about home ownership? That's what people care about. 112 says, does the Jewish community like James Fishback? They do not, sir, from what I have seen. But I'm sure he has fans in that community. I won't generalize. But as a generalization, I don't think they're huge fans.
Those jobs will go to our recent grads. We're going to ban Blackstone, private equity, and foreign nationals from buying up single-family homes, hoarding and cornering the market. So you and your kids and your grandkids, Patrick, they can buy a home. You know why? Because a home is not a nice to have. It is a need to have. If you can't buy a home, can you get married, Pat? If you can't get married, can you have kids? And if you can't have kids, what's the point? We know that as Christians. It's a precondition. And then let's talk about overdevelopment and sprawl in our state. You look at a Google map over the last 15, 20 years, a satellite map, entire communities where citrus groves once stood, where cattle ranchers once herded their lots. Guess what? Those are now becoming AI data centers, become Section 8 style housing. I believe this is a choice between old Florida and new Florida. If you want Florida to become the AI data center capital of the world, you can vote for Congressman Byron Donalds. If you want us to become the financial capital, the concrete jungle, vote for Byron Donalds genuinely. But if you want citrus, ag, tourism, space, if you want a state that we all can be proud of, if you want to protect our Everglades, if you believe that our jobs belong to us, if you believe that we should be able to buy single-family homes, not Chinese nationals, if you believe that Washington, D.C. should send 600,000 Chinese students to our universities, guess what? Here's my plan. As Florida governor, I'll sign an executive order before the sun sets on my first day to raise tuition on any foreign student to $1 million.
Now, we have to put aside the policy because we're doing analysis. I will say this for sure. This is not a great strategy. This old Florida versus new Florida thing. He rolled this out like last week, I want to say. Okay. You never want to pitch the old. You never want to pitch traditionalism. Okay, I don't think it's an effective pitch in the postmodern Baudrillardian era that we're in. You want to pitch a unique vision. We mustn't be afraid. There's so much more to hope for than old Florida. There's so much more to hope for. There's so much cool stuff that we could do that is not the AI capital crap that Byron Donalds is doing. Or proposing. The crap that Ron DeSantis and Francis Suarez proposed. You always want to dream bigger. I don't want citrus groves, personally. I want pomegranate groves everywhere. I don't want urban sprawl. You're right. But I want something cool. I want something cool, something that works, something unique. I don't want you to fix anything. I'm tired of people trying to fix things. That's the one contention I have with him right now. This idea of we're going to fix the orange groves. Some more Baudrillardian wisdom. Stop trying to fix things. Fixing things, it's my pinned video, is a waste of time. Fixing things is for German people. Okay? German people love to fix things. German people love to open your watch and go, oh, look, I'm going to document everything that's going wrong. And no, you just want things to work. And that's very different than fixing things. I hate fixing things. I want it to work. Fixing things is antithetical to humanity, except for like German people and maybe Japanese people. They're good at fixing things. Make it work. When you go to the car shop, the Mexican car shop, they don't fix your car. They make it work. Okay? Fixing things is a waste of time. It's fucking stupid. I see Mr. Elu saying a mechanic king. Look, mechanics are not fixing things. They are making things work. They're making things work. I see D4 saying that we're censoring stuff. Sorry, I'm not able to catch up with the chat, guys, because we have a lot to get through. But D4, I'm not censoring them. The way that this chat works on the screen is I give the actual link to YouTube. And I think it only does top chat, even if I choose live chat, just for the future reference. It's not really me. But yeah, we just need to make things work. I don't want to fix the orange groves. I want Florida to grow stuff that makes us money. Money, money, money. Stop trying to fix things. All right, let's continue.
A year, $1 million.
Foreign student to $1 million.
I don't want them in our schools. Florida taxpayers like you and me, we pay for Florida colleges. We built them. We fund the faculty, staff, and the research. Those should be for our kids. Imagine a young girl right here in Broward County who went to my high school, Boyd H. Anderson. I was one of 2 white kids in the entire senior class. Imagine her being told, you know what? You're not going to be admitted this time around. You're not going to be able to go to the pre-med program at the University of Florida because we had to make room for a student from Shanghai or Mumbai. That's exactly what's happening every single day in our state. And if DC is successful with this deep state U.S.-China trade deal, upwards of 600,000 more foreign students can come to our universities. And Patrick, I'm a big fan of what you've built here. I wanted to make a little bit of news here this morning if I can.
Beautiful. Go for it.
We all have friends in New York, and I am sorry for their loss that Zohran Mamdani is their mayor, but I want to be very clear.
Bro, you're the Florida Zohran. You're Florida Zohran. By the way, I see Ephra saying there, I like fixing things. Look, Ephra. Ephra, you're clearly like a civil engineer genius, all right? There is a role for civil engineers, all right? My dad's a civil engineer. But personally, as someone who looks at Stalin as a man who made things work, there's a role for civil engineering. We need people that fix things. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when politicians are talking about fixing things, it makes me lose my mind. Because that's for the civil engineers. That's for the Germans. That's for the Japanese. I just want things to work.
3 words: Florida is full. We are not a refugee camp for New Yorkers to flee from their problems. That's your mess. Clean it up. I am proud to announce here today exclusively on PBD that I will pass the Mamdani tax, $50,000 property transaction tax for any out-of-state individual who wants to buy real estate, single-family real estate here in Florida. It's time we put Florida first. We are full. We took in 800,000 new residents after COVID.
I don't know if this is legal, and that's why the grift never ends. This is an appealing message to people from here. Fuck you. The state is full. Get out. This is a beautiful proposal. I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if it can happen. But it's very cool. It's very, very cool. Putting the Zoran stuff aside, I don't think Zoran's going to mess up New York personally. Yeah, if you want to move here, you should have to pay more money. This idea, dude, I had this a few streams ago, and I made the clip where we were talking about the concept of the heritage American. And I was like, listen, man, I'm first generation American. When I meet someone from the Mayflower, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's very cool. You've been here from the beginning. And someone in the comments said, well, how would you do this legally? This distinction between the heritage American and the non-heritage American. And I'm like, why are you thinking legally? Why are you thinking like that? I'm just saying it's cool. It seems like people have lost the concept of, I don't know, what would you call this? Like having a stake in something, right? And you know this materially, but on the abstract, people have lost this. I don't know if it's citizenship or freedom of movement. But the idea that someone who's lived in a neighborhood for 40 years has more of a right to it than someone who moved there a year ago is not foreign to me. This is how the rest of the world works. But in America, this is a difficult concept for people to understand. And I'm not saying you need to do something with it legally. I'm just saying as a concept, it's a more interesting way to view the world. You go to Italy. I went to Italy once in Milan. I talked to this older lady. Okay. I was like, are you from here? And she was like, yes. And we talked a little bit. And then she was like, actually, I'm not from here. I was like, okay, what do you mean? She was like, well, look, my family only moved to Milan in the 13th century. Before that, we were from Bologna. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, this woman knows where she's from. Oh, that's crazy. As a New Worlder, that's crazy. But it's a concept that everyone else has. Everyone else has this. If you live somewhere longer than someone else, you may have more of a right to it. Now, the neoliberal hell, the capitalist system that we live in, don't call it capitalism. I don't want to cause controversy. Call it, I don't know, like the neoliberal hell. We live in the hell we live in, all right? In the hell. Let's play the clip.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
This doesn't really mean anything because it doesn't matter anymore. Citizenship doesn't matter. None of this actually matters. But as a exercise in mental masturbation, go with me here, okay? Maybe if you live somewhere a little longer, you have more of a right to it.
In just 5 short years, crazy idea. Florida needs to put the people who made Florida, Florida back at the front of the line. That's what I'm running to do. If you want more New Yorkers, Byron Donalds is your guy. After all, he was born and raised in New York, and within the span of 3 years moving here, he got himself arrested twice. Rather interesting. But at the end of the day, I believe that there's a real debate in the Republican Party right now between economic nationalism and economic corporatism. The economy has to work for working people. It has to work for young couples. It cannot exclusively work for the biggest companies. That is my platform. As I ended my campaign video, my name is James Fishback. I'm running for Florida governor as a 4th-generation Floridian because I believe, Patrick, that Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and no one should ever be able to steal that from us.
I love that. I love the fact that you have bold ideas. You even give an idea about if somebody can fix, was it one of the citrus, what was a problem you said that you would give them $1 billion. Can you share that idea
Yes.
with the audience as well, please?
Yes. So there is an issue here with citrus greening. I was in Frostproof in southern Polk County with 5 generations of different citrus growers. And what I found was that there's this greening that came from China about 15 years ago. It is an infection, a disease. And much like COVID.
He's not whispering here either. I guess he only did that on Tucker. That was such a weird appearance. But here he's talking normally again. It's probably good for him. All right.
The Republicans and Democrats just pointed the finger and said, it's China's fault. We're just going to give up. We're just going to give up on citrus in Florida. Citrus used to be 245 million boxes every single season. In the most recent one, it's only 14 million. Guess what? That means fewer jobs, fewer local industries, fewer local businesses, and a sense of pride in our communities like in Highlands County, in Sebring, and Frostproof. And so what I've said is if you're a scientist anywhere in the world, and I mean anywhere, you could even be in Iran, if you're a scientist anywhere in the world and you have discovered the scientific cure to greening, the state of Florida will pay you $1 billion cash. Because guess what? Florida citrus could be upwards of a $50 billion industry again. Why wouldn't we make a one-time investment to turn places like Moorhaven,
Why don't we just grow pomegranates? Why don't we just grow loquats? Why don't we just grow fruits that are worth more money? Why don't we grow durian? Why do we have to keep growing this stupid orange? This orange does not make us as much money as we could.
Where citrus groves once proudly stood, where we employed tens of thousands of young men and women, where we supported local industry and local businesses, when we gave these rural communities all over our state a sense of pride. Why don't we put a little bit of investment for them?
It's a good point. And by the way, for Floridian that may be listening to this saying, hey, that makes sense, I'd like to see that happen. Now, going back to the $50,000 of people coming in. So if you're going to charge somebody that's coming here, you call them refugees coming from New York here, the Mamdani tax of $50,000, who does that benefit? Yeah. What does that do? Because and even if you did that, the people that are leaving, I'd say most of them would be able to pay for it. And I guess if they do, it generates an income for the state. Tell me the logic behind that idea.
And here we see the attitude that is pervasive in our world, because our world is a hell. I'm a numbers guy. I'm Patrick Bet David. I am a numbers guy. Okay? I'm a numbers guy. I look at the data. The data says they bring money. Why not let them in? People have no attachments. This is wisdom for you. This is how the elites operate. They have no attachments. And, you have to live like Robert De Niro in Heat. You have to do it. You'll never get attached to something that you won't drop on a dime if you feel the heat coming around the corner. All right? Because, look, this is all very poetic and flowery language from Mr. Fishback. But at the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. So what I would say is, guys, if you want to survive and if you want to thrive, you need to shed this. You need to shed this. It's not the way of going forward, because you always have this pushback, and this pushback is infallible. How are you going to fight it? You're right. They're bringing money, and that's all that matters in this world.
Well, the logic is, in economics, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. There is no disincentive right now for New Yorkers to pack up their things, throw in the towel, come to our state and price us out and push us out. And crazy idea. I believe that our state should work for the people who built our state, who put it on the map, like my grandmother, who was a 20-year English teacher at Plantation High School just about 10 miles southwest of here. So the idea is very simple. Create a tax disincentive as opposed to a tax incentive for New Yorkers or any out-of-staters. It's going to be a property transaction tax. It's $50,000. If you want to come here and you want to move your residence, it's going to be $50,000. My hope, and I think what you're going to end up finding, is that's going to actively deter people from coming here. Look, if you got a New Yorker who's outbidding a Florida family, who's about to get married, have 2 or 3 kids, if they're outbidding them by $5,000 on a home, guess what? That family may have to stay in their studio apartment on the wrong side of the railroad tracks for another 5 or 10 years. They may not be able to get married. They may not be able to have kids. What's the point if we can't support them when they need our support? And so what the Mamdani tax of $50,000 does is it says there's a property transaction fee of $50,000 if you're an out-of-stater buying property here in Florida. And what you do is you actually recalibrate the market to allow Florida families to have a fighting chance to buy homes and to exist in our state.
It's an interesting idea. It's like when the Trump did the $5 million gold card. Is that what he called it? The $5 million gold card? Or I remember I was in Panama. Panama said, if you bring $300,000 here, we'll give you the citizenship. You're trying to come here. The country. Unemployment at the time was
The country. As opposed to what? The hat? What? Panama, the country. Americans, Patrick Bet David's American, right? I don't know if it's an American thing. You know what I don't get? Americans do this thing where they go, I've been to London, I've been to Rome, I've been to Prague, and then I've been to Paris, France. And you're like, why are you saying France? I know where Paris is, you know. Mr. Eel says Panama City, but Panama City is part of Florida. Like, that wouldn't even make any sense. Panama, the country. And also, no one says Panama for Panama City. You say Panama City. What is? All right.
2.3%, incredible real estate, incredible economy, and a safe place to be. It would be a similar idea. Tom, what do you think about the $50,000 idea?
I think, well, it would have affected you and me. My dad worked for IBM, and so I lived down here during high school. I graduated from Boca Raton High School up there, I-95 and Glades Road. And so we came back here, though, looking for a business-friendly environment that would attract us. And so if you build a business-friendly environment and you want us to come down here, and we've brought down, now look at the jobs we've built. This was a failed business. Pat bought the building. Now there's employees in this building.
Of course.
So I would think you would want those people to come because you've built this magnet to say, hey, we're going to have less regulation. This is what we've got. We got this for families.
It's not about the money. It's about sending a message. What really not troubles me, but it's very cool to see this out in plain sight, is that I think that this bourgeois attitude is something that is so alien to the idea of, I don't want to call it tradition, but of historical precedent, that they can't wrap their heads around it. The idea of sacrificing capital in order for something that someone else deems as greater is impossible for the bourgeois to wrap their head around. And this is why they don't suffer ennui like an aristocrat, like myself, an aristocrat. Okay, because they can always consume. But these people here, they can't wrap their head around the concept of something real, in this fake world, in this Baudrillardian world, in this hell, where nothing is real, but some things feel a little bit more real, I mean, these are guys who talk about Christian values and all that. And this is why they defended the OnlyFans thing. Because you can't wrap your head around. Literally, I don't think they can understand the idea of something taking precedence over money. That's good to know. It's good to know that people talk like that.
And for those of you that stay here long enough on education, we have the Bright Futures program where you can get a tremendous discount if your kids do well in high school. You can get a discount and guaranteed admission at Florida State, University of Florida, UCF, and FIU, correct? All the ones that are funded by tax dollars through Tallahassee.
Correct.
So why would you then put a toll gate up and say, if you want to come down here and participate in all that and make jobs, wait a minute, the toll's $50,000. Yeah. Wouldn't you be missing the opportunity of someone like Patrick?
I think the only way you could explain this is, why do you have a lock on your front door? Because at the end of the day, this bourgeois, neoliberal, capitalist system, this libertarianism, is just communism. It's just communism through other methods. It's literally communism, dude, as described. Why do you have a lock on your door then? Maybe someone can come in there and remote work and make a whole ton of money for the household. Why not? What's the problem with it? Why do you have security cameras? Why doesn't Patrick Bet David invite the whole world into his studio so they can do podcasts? Maybe they could increase shareholder value. Maybe that would help them understand, but I don't think they can.
Self and others that are with his organization?
So I think it's a great point, Tom. And look, I would not have supported this 10, 15 years ago. I would not have supported this even 7 years ago. The truth is that we had 800,000 people move here over the last 5 years because we had so much success and we attracted people here. I think at some point, though, it makes sense to say, enough is enough. We are full. We don't have the infrastructure, too much congestion, too much traffic. Home prices in Broward County alone are up 72% in the last 5 years. So what made good sense, and I'm glad you're here, Tom, I'm glad you're here, Patrick, but what made good sense 5, 10, 15 years ago needn't make good sense now. Look, I think we were right to welcome immigrants here on Ellis Island, but guess what? They didn't get food stamps and an Obama phone. They didn't get $7,000 a month in Chicago or $500 a night hotel rooms in New York City.
Different issue, and you're right about that.
Correct.
They shouldn't come here and have all the tax dollars going to provide all those things.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think the bigger thing is what might have made good sense, and it did make good sense to invite folks down here to open up businesses and industry. That's one thing. That was 10, 15 years ago. We are at the brink now. We are fully exhausted as a state. Go to the I-4 corridor between Tampa and Orlando, nonstop traffic.
That is absolutely true. And I would say to D4, who says that Florida's running out of, it's not like Florida's running out of space. It kind of is, dude. It is. Because what he's describing, if you've been to Orlando in recent years, and it's becoming a cool city, but the sprawl around it is disgusting. It has destroyed the natural environment that used to adorn the state. And if you care about that kind of stuff, you're just like, why are they allowing this? Why are they allowing the state to become sprawl? Because what would be cool is if they built more cities. Tampa's a shithole. They could fix Tampa, not fix, make it work. They could do cool stuff in Tampa. They could make Jacksonville work. They could make Miami actually work, but they don't. They just build more urban sprawl, suburban sprawl. And suburban sprawl is just the death of anything human, in my view. What is the convenience of buying a cheaper house on the I-4 corridor where your Publix is 30 minutes away, where your school is 45 minutes away, where the hardware store is 20 minutes away? What is the point of it?
Drive here 95 between downtown Miami and downtown Fort Lauderdale, nonstop traffic. At what point do we say?
I would support more apartments, like actual buildings. But they're not doing that because these real estate developers are greedy and cheap. And all they want to do is build more suburban shitty houses because the quality has also dropped significantly,
We're done building. Let's just preserve what Governor DeSantis has given us. And part of that has to be, Patrick, eliminating property taxes. Not property tax relief, not property tax reform. Eliminating property taxes to zero for every single Florida resident. Not for out-of-staters, not for Canadian snowbirds. We have to deliver the largest tax cut in Florida history. And you know this, Patrick.
And he pushed this onto DeSantis. DeSantis has echoed this position in recent weeks.
One person's spending is another person's income. So when we give you a tax cut, I don't want to know how much your property tax bill is, but when we give you a tax cut, I've seen your beautiful home. When we give you a tax cut, how are you going to spend that money? You're going to invest it in your business.
Yeah.
You're going to go out and get ice cream over movies with your kids.
I did a video on this about the whole no property tax, homestead, non-homestead. The way I would probably do it, I would do it to incentivize. It's almost like, how you're with a company 5 years, they'll say, hey, we'll give you equity and we'll give you LTIP if you reach a certain level, and then this is when the benefits will start. I would consider doing that for the people that need it, not the guys that are living in $10+ million homes. I would probably not give them that, and maybe even give it to people that have been here 5+ years or 10+ years. Something to be aligned with your argument, right? To be a true Floridian, 4th generation, because you're a true Floridian. You've been here 4 generations. So when somebody says, I've been here for that long, you know the state better. This is your culture. This is where you grew up. If it was a 10-year plus somebody that's homestead, would make sense. If it's below a certain number, that would make sense. Of course, when you announce something like that, that's just going to make more people want to come here. So if you say no home tax, no taxes.
First guy to bring it up, but he said it's only for residents. And by the way, Efra says, I have an idea. What if you make Florida an OF-friendly state, but only for male OF? It achieves two things. It destroys demand for OF. And also no one wants to live in a sausage. I would support that, Efra. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. I like thinking outside the box like that, Efra. That's a good one. That's a good one. I see here, I wanted to respond to D. That's a good one, Efra. Who said, but overall, I think more conservatives moving to Florida strengthens the state and makes a larger point about what people are voting their feet in favor of. D4, my comeback to that would be this, is that Florida was never a red state. It was always a purple state. And it survived like that and thrived a long time. You know, Florida had Democratic pockets and Republican pockets and Democrat governors and Republican governors. And they were all kind of okay. It only became a problem when Gillum was the first, like, reformer, like, evangelist, you know. But most Floridians, man, I think if you ask them if they pine for the days of a purple state, because any one-party state, and you see this in California, it's not healthy to be in that type of relationship with your government when the other party has literally no option. All they can do is ankle bite and make your life hell at the local level. But having two healthy parties in some ways really does insulate you from the extremes of either one. So that's just my experience living here, man. Because if I think back on it, Rick Scott, who I hated at the time and did some stuff I didn't like, was better than Ron DeSantis. Jeb Bush, who was a Republican that a lot of people said was corrupt, was better than Ron DeSantis. Charlie Crist was better than Ron DeSantis. Mayor Pinellas in Miami, a Democrat. People said he was a pretty good mayor. You know, because it forces you to actually have to grift accordingly. You know, you can't go too hard in one direction or the other because there is healthy competition.
On homes, $50,000. Say I'm paying whatever in New York. I'm like, oh, here you go, James. Here's $50,000. I'll move tomorrow.
Correct.
So if you get 300,000, what's 300,000 times 50,000? What's 100,000 times 50,000? What's the number? It's 300,000. So 10 times 50, 500, 5 million, 50 million, 500 million. Yeah. Is it $500 million in revenue? Rob, can you take a look at that? If 100,000 times 50,000, is that a half a billion or is it 5 billion?
I think it's 5 billion.
Is it 5 billion? 100,000 times 50,000, 5 billion? It's real money.
That's real money.
That's real money going into the state.
And by the way, that's going to go for infrastructure here in our state because the roads, the bridges, the potholes, our airports, we've got to do more for.
This is absolutely true, man. Absolutely true. Our roads and our airports are an embarrassment. Except the ones in Central Florida. They're pretty good. But everywhere else, it's garbage. It's garbage. It is trash. The Miami airport is the worst airport in America. I like to say this, even though it's not exactly true. It's worse than the Havana airport. Okay? It's one of the worst airports in the world. And the fact that they can get away with not fixing it is disgusting.
For that, we have to. And so I agree with your point 100%, Pat.
Yeah.
Let's create a system where if you want to move here, you got to wait 5 years before you can get that property tax relief. Look, skin in the game.
I love that idea.
Skin in the game.
I love that idea.
You can't do this property tax
I like that very
arbitrage.
good, too. Are you familiar with Howard Jarvis and Prop 13 in California?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay, let me teach you the history. In the late 70s, Howard Jarvis says property tax in California was too much, and Prop 13 was passed in 1978, Howard Jarvis. And what it did is it locked in your property tax for your home right now, and it locked it in, and guess who was benefiting? All of the families that were already living there that already had those homes.
Right.
So you kind of gave the working class families the tax relief, and then everybody that bought houses after that was subject to new property tax rules. I love the vesting idea. I love the
vesting
thing.
idea. Yeah.
You're a resident and you're vested as a resident. Here's your benefits. You have your child here in the school this long and they get good grades. Yep. Here's your Bright Futures program.
Correct.
I like the idea of like a minimum, no games with the 189-day rule, right? Where you have 189 days in Nevada and you can avoid California income tax. Yeah. No games like that. Vested residents get stacks of benefits.
Okay, so here's the question. So now here's the question. Can you pull up Kalshi real quick for Florida governor? I want to know where they have you on Zoom in.
I look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I look at the data. We have to look at Kalshi.
Oh, okay, you're second.
So I'm in second.
All right, Jay Collins is third. Go a little bit low, Rob, to see the names.
In the past hour, it was at 13.
Zoom in, Wilton, Matt Gates, Jimmy Petronis.
This goes to Efra's point from yesterday, too, by the way, of does reality or the perception of reality affect your reality? Absolutely. If the candidates themselves are seeing this incentivizes voters. In fact, Fishback should be begging for this number to be even lower so that his voters will feel even more of a need to come out.
Casey DeSantis. So at one point, they thought Casey was going to run, so she's not high on that list. What is Jay Collins known for? Who's Jay Collins?
No idea.
Are you joking? Or are you
I know. He's the lieutenant governor. He's been in there for 4.5 months.
No, I mean,
well,
okay.
What is, if you want to know what he's known for, he said last year, I kid you not, he said last year, I quote, "You do not have a right to harm people with your words," end quote. He said that. You do not have a right to harm people with your words,
This
end
is
quote.
America. What does he mean by that?
He means exactly what he means by that. I was on with Tucker 2 weeks ago, and we talked about this very idea. His idea is that if you're...
All right. So overall, important interview. It's worth watching. It's interesting because you see a lot of pushback from the bourgeois class here. You can't do it this way, James. James, think of the money. Stop thinking of the children. And by the end of it, I don't think PBD is convinced. And PBD obviously is not going to endorse anyone. PBD is a guy who knows how to play the game. And the game is not endorsing people. It's who will give me the most benefit. Okay? That's the game. The game is, if Reza Pahlavi's son wants to be governor of Florida and he promises me $30 billion, I vote for him. Okay? So, it's an interesting interview because he broke with Ron DeSantis. He broke with Donald Trump. This is a great interview. I'm not sure how it'll translate into votes, but the Fishback campaign is running the Zoran Mamdani and Trump 2020 campaign, hitting the podcast, hitting social media. Is that enough to defeat a Trump endorsement? By the way, Trump has endorsed multiple candidates in the same race in the past. Can he win over a Trump endorsement? I doubt it, because Trump actually lives in Florida. But it's a fascinating interview, man. And this is going to be a great race. I can't wait. I can't wait. I might even sign up to volunteer. I usually, dude, when I was a kid, I used to do that. I used to volunteer for every campaign so I could get the most shirts. But now it's like, I want to do it just to see how they're working. I want to see inside the Byron Donalds campaign, inside the Fishback campaign. So, yeah, PBD, you broke with your boy, Ron DeSantis. I'm fascinated. Oof, 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 oof. Would Trump more likely endorse Jay Collins, says Mr. Elu? Yeah, probably. Because he lives in Florida, right? All he wants is things to continue in the way that they have been going for him. Probably someone who's friendly, that's not going to challenge him on power. Byron Donalds is a total moron. Byron Donalds. Let's play that one more time. He's a total moron. So he's just going to do whatever Trump says. Yes, sir, Mr. Trump. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's going to be Byron Donalds the whole time. So, you know, I had everything says try to get Fishback on the show. Yeah, I would love to, man. I actually reached out to him, but I didn't get I didn't get the response I wanted at the time. I'll see if I can, but you know, he's on PBD. PBD has like 1 million subscribers. I don't think he's gonna see it. You know, where doesn't he align with Trump? Says 112. I think he doesn't align with Trump in the sense that he's not giving people, rich people that moved to Florida, all the benefits that they were entitled to in the past, despite their politics. He doesn't want to make the state a red state. He wants to make it old Florida. And old Florida is a purple state. Again, that's a problem with his vision. I would not sell old Florida. I love old Florida. Dude, I put on old Florida tourism videos all the time. I love to watch the wiki-watchy mermaids from the 50s. These white women that used to dress up as mermaids and swim around in a pool. You're like, damn, this is really cool. You know, I love to visit the invasive monkeys we have near Tampa that have herpes because some crazy guy brought them to live in the Everglades for his show and then he went out of business. I love old Florida, but you don't win by selling the past. You win with vision, with something different, you know? He'll probably come on, says Iron Hammer Forge. Well, you guys, follow me on Twitter and I'll start tweeting out and be like, James Fishback, come to my show. If you retweet and like it, maybe we can get him on. I don't tweet much, but I've been tweeting more these days. Dude, hang on, let me show you, man. Because I used to be a better tweeter during the pandemic. I had an alt. Let me show you my tweets, man. I just fucking, I went for Nicholas Kristoff here. But my reach isn't huge on Twitter. And you can see here, this one was pretty funny. I liked it. Here we go. Where is it? I have to go to replies. So Nicholas Kristoff tweeted this. I understand why Marina Corina Machado gave her Nobel Prize to President Trump. Blah, 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 blah. And I just said, you are the ugliest person to go on Bill Maher, and that includes end stage Christopher Hitchens, which I thought was pretty good because Nicholas Kristoff is an ugly man. He's an ugly, ugly man. Very, very ugly. And his ideas are as ugly as his face. So if you find me on Twitter, here I am making fun of Argentinians. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll tweet at him. I'll be like, dude, come on the show. That'd be great. Because this stuff, dude, if we can get some sound bites like this is hilarious.
Fishback, listen, you're the one who says that Byron has a dark vision.
Byron does have a dark vision. He does have a dark vision. He's a disgrace. He came from the ghetto. I want to send him back to the ghetto. And you can print that if you want. I don't care what you say, Max. You're a stupid, feckless Republican who's trying to tone police us. I and the rest of us are trying to save our country. And you're worried about me calling a black man Byron? Go join the Democrat Party, Max. Seriously.
Yeah, so your car wasn't repossessed. It was seized by U.S. Marshals. Whose car are you driving right now? And
Max,
whose name is the title?
Max, I'm driving your mom's car right now. You want to talk to her?
Oh my God. D4 says, you have a great show and a strong stage presence. You should really be. Don't use that with air quotes, my friend. It is all the world's a stage, man. The Mossad said it, so it's true. You should really be promoting this show any way you can, including Twitter. Dude, my producer has been insisting on it. And I've let him down because I got too autistic about Twitter. I'm very hard at figuring out what a good tweet is. But you're right. I do want to put clips out there. Dude, if you guys get in the Discord and you can help me out, you don't even have to do it yourself. I'll edit it myself. Because I think Twitter optimizes for like 2-minute clips. I'll start putting out clips of the show that are the best. But I just have trouble with the timestamps because the clips on Twitter, it's easy. It's like between 7 to 15 minutes. You want to aim for 10 to 12. But Twitter's the one where I'm like, how do I hack this? Because my producer specifically, he's like, dude, that's how people like Nick Fuentes and even like Kyle Kalinske or Breaking Points really made their stuff go viral by having clips on Twitter. So that's what I'm trying to do. TikTok I did for a bit, but TikTok is like, it's hit or miss. I think Twitter needs to do it. I appreciate the confidence in the show, guys. I really like it. We've been growing, but you're right. No, dude, like I got to get on that. It's just a pain in the ass. You know, you got to juggle everything. And at this point, I want to hire some Filipinos or some Indians or some Pakistanis because my producer, he does a lot of legwork in terms of grabbing stories. We do some writing. We do some planning. Also with some clips for YouTube. But as far as Twitter clips, it's going to be hard. You got to buy bots. Yeah, for Twitter, I guess, right? Can you do that with the new African CEO with Elon Musk? You know, I don't know. I can't imagine you dancing on TikTok. I never danced, dude, but if the TikTok's still active, you go check it out. In the beginning, I was figuring out social media. You know, I was making like travel clips and all that. And I was like, fuck this, dude. I like talking. I like talking to people. I'm a talker. I'm a Baudrillardian talker. What's better than talking? You know, what is tourism in the age of Baudrillard? What is tourism? Go eat McDonald's in Iceland? To go eat McDonald's in Saudi Arabia? It's the American century, baby. It's over. So Elon sells them. All right. I'm going to take Twitter seriously this week. You guys can help out. Join the Discord and just give me timestamps, dude. I'll figure out the rest. But that would be great. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'll have an episode out of the King Leo Movie Club tomorrow on Patreon. Let's do the plugs one more time. Yeah, politics is hot, man. I think it's going to keep getting hot throughout this election season because we're going to have a great midterm election. It's going to be very fascinating to watch. So it's going to be fun. Here we have the Discord, which is completely free. There's a paid membership level. You get that through Patreon, which is $5 or $20 a month, whatever you choose. And you have the What Would a Postmodernist Do bracelet on coffee. All these links are in the description. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you. Mr. Elu, Iron Hammer, Forge, see you were here. D4, I hate everything. Pajarito Lindo. Who else was here, man? Did I get called Jewish in the chat again today? Well, I don't see it right now. 112, as usual. I appreciate you, big guy. I appreciate all the ladies and fellas in here, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. 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 Change the world.